Okay, here are your week 12 instructions, the week of November 9, 10, 11, and 12. Um, First of all, today, Monday, November 9th, is the last day to drop. If you're on my roster tomorrow, you're going to be on my roster when I put in the final exam grades at the end. If you don't know what your average is, go into Canvas, grades, and it should be nearly all the way to the right. If not all the way to the right, just keep scrolling. I think it says total. It's going to be a number with two decimal places. That's your average. So if that doesn't look like something you can pull out, and at this point, with as little left as there is, that's going to be really tough. So it might be prudent to rise again to fight another day, if you know what I mean. If you decide to drop, all you have to do is email me. Might not hurt to email student services as well. The person there in charge is Adam Finley. That's AF at W. Just AF. It'll default to his name. But email me. He'll need to hear from me anyway, and I'll forward it on to student services with things they need to know, like your student ID number, which course and section you're enrolled in or dropping, and your last date of activity. So that's upon us. I should have seen it coming a little bit better. Okay, I've kind of got off to a slow start today. Sorry about that. Not much I can do about it. Okay, you have one assignment this week for a grade. That's going to be the two, really, by the end. Chapter 30 quiz is going to be due on Thursday, and this time we're not going to use the monitor, but we are going to use the lockdown browser. Um, Things have changed, I guess. Um, when I was giving these things on paper, somewhere around maybe 10% or so of students in a class would make 100 or 110. Might have been a little more than that. Now, sometimes it's almost everybody makes 100 or 110. Okay, I don't need a lot of instruction to figure out what's going on there, and this is just what we're going to have to do. Okay, this week, Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Final paper. Okay, there's a document explaining the what's called the common assignments, and it's going to look like there's four of them, but because it starts with the works cited list, that's going to be attached to your final paper. It's not a separate grade. At least in my class, it's not. Um, but it tells about those things. The last thing in there is about the final paper. The sources, as I've told you before, the list of sources, which are active links, are uh, are there. Now, I sent that. I forget if it was 1301 or 1302. I don't even remember where the links weren't links. They just were print. And I went back and created a document showing that. And if it happens to be 1302, I'll get that available to you for this week. Those are the sources you're to use to write your paper. It's going to need to follow the generally the outline that you submitted, and there's some stylistic requirements with regard to font. Let's say Times or Times New Roman 12 point font, um, 1 inch margins on the sides and the top. Number your pages. That may not be a formal requirement, but I want to see them numbered. And then when you finish the text of the paper, and they've given us some leeway, 3 to 6 pages, and there's quality and there's quantity, and I would give a higher grade to what I thought was a good paper that wasn't as long as a 6 pager that just really wasn't anything there. That's the extreme, but it happens. Okay. Now, once you finish the text, don't just start immediately with your works cited list, or also known as a bibliography. Do what's known as a page break. So it continues the same document, but it goes on straight to the next page. Now, you have to use and cite a certain minimum number of those sources, and that is found in the instructions in the document about the common assignments. It's been since last spring since I graded those, so I can just look in that and tell you what that number of sources is, but it's more than one or two. Whatever that is, make sure you get to that minimum. Okay. After this week, you only have 2 more chapter quizzes. Next week will be chapter 31. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Back that up. Next week will be exam 2. So I'm going to have to make a big bunch of videos, and you're going to need to watch them. Do not consider yourself to be prepared for an exam until you've watched all the lecture videos you've read through the appropriate chapters in the supplements, and you've consulted the Exam 3 essay prep document for guidance on which topics you need to study extra hard on and get ready to write about, and the Exam 3 multiple choice section worksheet. Because the number of questions you get will be 25 out of a question bank of upwards of twice that many. So that study sheet has got to support all of those. Week after next, I may have mentioned this earlier. I don't remember. I know I did in the 1301 video. Week after next, we're off the whole week for Thanksgiving. Then when we come back from that, we'll have one full week of classes, one partial week of classes where finals will begin on Thursday. For online, it's better if they would just figure out that for online, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday week works a lot better, because if finals open up on Thursday and they go through the next Wednesday, that's a week. I guess that full week. I guess that gives you more options. But I'm just taking a rest at that point, because once I've got you taking finals, my work is done, except for running some numbers. So anyway, there you go. Thank you for your kind attention.